Peace. Come in the righteous name of Lord Supreme, wise mind Allah. Allah's 5% nation. Wanted to take this time real quick, while I'm on my little travels and my journey, to give people the insight and understanding of the science of equality. All right. Now, we all say, as a lost 5% nation, and that understand that language, that equality means to be equal in all things. It's to be equal in knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Now, a lot of times people don't really explain or go into depth of what equality really is. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to break it down to you to the finest level of understanding that you can possibly comprehend it. That possibly you could comprehend. All right. When dealing with equality deals with the science of contribution and distribution. All right? You can't have more than the other, because what will happen is the scales of equality will tilt to one side. What does that mean? Well, if you see somebody taking all the time and they're not giving anything, they're not also contributing to themselves, but they're not contributing to your cause as well. I'll give you an example. Let's just say, for instance, you're in a relationship, right? And all you see is give me. But there's no taking. There's no distributing. You're not distributing anything to the person that's contributing to your cause. So what ends up happening is, here's where the feelings lie at. People feel like they're being selfish. They're being self-centered, egotistical. And also that you're only focused on yourself and not the well-being of others. Now, equality, as a lot of us say, is I want for myself what I want for my brothers and sisters. All right? Now, that may be many different things, but a lot of times, those many different aspects don't always come into play when it comes down to the other person. Now, you may have equality, but that person might not have equality type traits. In other words, they're not selfless. They're selfish. They're not, empathetic. They're more apathetic, meaning that they have a lack of concern or interest in the affairs of other people, but yet they want people to have a concern and understanding for their situation. It doesn't work like that. Now, what I'm saying is that when it comes down to the science of equality, now remember, equality is a strong arm of justice. A lot of people don't know what that means. All right. Justice is reward or penalties for one's acts and deeds. It is equity, it's fairness. It is to be fair, to distribute a blessing or a curse based on what the action is and how it took place. All right?
Peace, son.
Now,
got a message.
Another thing was going back to equality. Equality is also dealing with role and position. What does that mean? All right. Well, what that means is, for instance, another example, so that way I could be able to help you out to understand this science. And I'm going to break it down as far as possible and as much as possible so that you can understand it. When you're dealing with a family unit, when you're dealing with sports, when you're dealing with life, when you're dealing with situations, you have to, as I say, KYP. What is KYP? You have to know your personnel. In other words, you got to know the position you play and the role that you play and how important that role is. See, some people don't know that some people don't know the role that they play, because what ends up happening is they play themselves out of position instead of getting themselves in position to play that role. You know what I'm saying? Some people are not meant to be actors. Some people are. You have to find your niche and you got to stick to it. You got to know your purpose. You got to know your reasoning behind the things you do. That's also knowing your role and position. You know, when you dealing with a family unit, we always use knowledge, wisdom, understanding, symbolically speaking, as man, woman, child. Now, when it comes down to man, woman, child, that is the ultimate level of knowing your role and position. The man is not the woman and the woman is not the man. But what they do is they counterbalance or complement each other as a unit to take care and to be there for the child. Because the child's role and position is to what? Learn, understand, comprehend, and grow up to be a little bit better than the parents. If you don't know your position as a father, how can you play the role of a father? If you don't know the position as your mother, how can you be a good mother to your children? If you don't know that role or position, that means that you're playing yourself, as they say, out of pocket. Now, I'm not gonna, long-winded draw this out too much, but I just wanted to put it out there. When it comes down to equality, equality is also dealing with the science of investment. You have to be able to invest the right amount of time into people. Not all of your time, the right amount, in order for you to get the right results that you're looking for. Now, like I said, when it comes down to relationships, equality plays a major role. I don't care what you say. Equality plays the biggest role in relationships, because you have to give in order to get. You have to, you know what I'm saying? It's better to give than to receive. No, it's better to give and receive. Because if a person is not invested in you, why would you invest your time in them? If a person's not valuing you, how can you value them? Now, you may not be like that person. You know, the person might end up taking you for granted, but you don't take them for granted. Yet you kind of find yourself being mentally and emotionally drained from it. So what ends up happening is this. Remember what I said to you before, going back to the previous bill, and what I said. Equalities deal with balance, reciprocity, and homeostasis. All right? Now, the reason why you have to look at everything as a balancing act, because in life you have to balance things out. You can't just expect everything to be one-sided, because it doesn't work like that. So like I said, if a person is not investing the same time that you're investing into them, they call that a liability, not an asset. Because then what you're doing is you're taking away from yourself and giving more of yourself to this person. That person's giving less of themselves to you. It's almost like 80-20, 70-30, instead of 100% on both ends. I don't say 50-50, because 50-50 is half-assed, and I don't half-ass in my relationships. I go full-fledged. You feel what I'm saying? So to bring this to a conclusion, what I wanted to say is this. When you learn the science of equality, you'll learn the science of understanding. Because equality has understanding in it. Because it's how things balance out, it's how you see life in its fullest totality. And that's how things are being revealed or born to you. And that's today's math too. So with that being said, y'all have a blessed night. I'll be with you in the near future. If you have any questions or concerns, like, comment, inbox me. Feel free to ask. I'm here for you. Peace to Lost 5% Nation on this day of born. Peace.